Hey y'all! So first of all, a big, huge thank you to everyone that is following our journey. We do appreciate and love you guys so much. It just tickles us that people actually want to watch our journey. But you know, we started doing this as a reminder to us, kind of, you know, a journal. I used to journal a lot whenever I was younger, and well, you know, technology and everything. So this is actually something that's pretty cool for us to look back on and see all of our memories as well. So I'm excited to, you know, in a year, 5, whatever, the good Lord blesses us with, to look back, kind of like our wedding album and our wedding video. We still watch that 20 years after the fact, which is kind of cool. But so we thank you and we appreciate you for following our journey. If you would, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Be sure and do that. We would appreciate that, and give us, you know, some thumbs up, and maybe a few comments on some things that you're interested in knowing. Our plans have changed a little bit, and we will definitely do a video on that. It's just timing and the Lord's timing, so, and being obedient anyway. But I wanted to talk about one of my favorite subjects that really excites me, and that is my love. Is Philip and me, our relationship. I love him dearly. He has we've been married 20 years this past September. It was a very, let's see, he was 19 when I first met him, and I was 22, and him being a teenager still, even though he was a cutie pie, I didn't want anything else to do with him, because, you know, at 22, I knew everything, and so I kind of pushed him away. And then I re-met him at my job. He was 20, like, I think it was the fall of the year he turned 20. So I was 23, because our birthdays are both in January. I was a little bit more mature and wiser, you know, and when I re-met him again, it was at my job. Well, I just moved to town. I'd been here right at 3 years, and when I moved here, I worked 2 jobs. I stayed busy. I didn't really know anyone, but I met him at my work. Now, he didn't work there. So I am thankful to his buddies one night deciding to do a little boy stuff, and they threw some bricks at some mailboxes and got caught, and they had to do community service. And that's how I met Philip. And he faithfully vacuumed the floor and emptied my trash, and before long I was going out and taking my breaks to go around where he was, because, I mean, let's face it, I worked at the courthouse, and it was, I was the youngest one there by far. There was a lot of people. Now, I still dyed my hair back then, but there was a lot of older gray people there, and I was youngest, and so Philip was young as well, and we hit it off, and our conversations were good. Well, our conversations were really good in the beginning. I was just playing hardball still, because he was still younger than me, and so he asked me out, and I had every excuse in the book, but I was on a diet. I couldn't eat this, or I couldn't do that, or something came up, or you name it. So he kept on. He was very persistent, and I'm very thankful that he was. How many times he finally said, look, I'll take you to the Olive Garden, and you can have salad all day long. So free dinner. So I went. That night we were pretty much inseparable. And 3 months later, he proposed. Marriage is a commitment, and needed to grow some, I guess, and double check, because I was getting married one time, and that was it. You know, well, not double check, but just check ourselves, I guess you could say. So we got engaged August the 31st, 1996, and we got married September the 20th, 1997. and it was such a great wedding. I loved it. And then we jet set it off to Cancun. So we stayed gone for a week, and we met some dear friends that we still chit chat with. They got married on the same exact day, same exact time, and we would have never met them had we not went to Cancun. So we are thankful we did. Kim and Jeff. So here's to 20 years to us, right? Yes. Well, we built a house. We moved in a year after our 1 year, right at our 1 year anniversary. So we built a house, plans, you know, to one day have a family. So we built it big enough, and, you know, 20 years later, here we are. Our plans didn't work out, and the good Lord kept our babies at home with him. But, you know, we have peace in that because we will see them one day. We most certainly will. After 20 years of the same thing, going to, you know, every day, day in, day out, we decided that we would go tiny and sell everything and live in our camper. And here we are. We're a little over 6 months into it. It's February, right? Yeah. I mean, I know it's February. I'm sorry. It's February. I know it's February. So 20 years. Marriage has not been, I mean, it's a commitment and it's a work. So don't think that it's been all roses and lollipops the whole entire time. We have to work at it, and we're committed to one another, and we made those vows. Even though at that age, I had been baptized before, but at 13, but I wasn't living the way I was supposed to be living. And when I say right, we weren't living by his word, and we didn't go to church except for Christmas and Easter, and we were what I lovingly called us creasters. I mean, nothing bad ever happened. It really didn't. We had a moment or two here and there when we had a miscarriage, and I freaked out, and nobody understood me, and I went stupid for a little while because all our plans got just ripped away from us in an instant, and I didn't know how to deal with it. So I lashed out because nobody understood. But it's, you know, we came back from that. When we still couldn't get pregnant, and we started seeking alternative methods, meaning we started having some blood work done, and I was poked and prodded, and Philip went and did his business, and I was poked and prodded some more, and it was just unexplained, which just sucked because we had been pregnant, and they couldn't tell us why we couldn't get pregnant again, and it was just all unexplained. We did some exploratory surgery, did a laparoscopy, and boy, that went wrong. That was 2006. That went terribly wrong. In and out. Go to sleep for a minute, wake up. Yep. No, not me. While they were in there, they cut a blood vessel, and I laid there and bled out for quite some time. And it was my baby sister. I full-heartedly believe my baby sister, who is a nurse, and she is like, she saved my life because she was very persistent to the staff because she wasn't working there. But we as a family, we do everything together. Oh my gosh, we do everything together. We went all together to the dealership when my middle sister bought her car. I think maybe twice we did that with her. I know definitely one time. Maybe we did it twice, but we just do everything together. You know, this was supposed to be in and out surgery, outpatient, but we all showed up. I mean, they all showed up. And things went horribly wrong, and but I'm still here, and the good Lord saved me for a purpose and for a reason. And after recovering from that, Philip and I knew at that point that he saved me twice in my life, or I knew at that point, and Philip and I both knew that we had to do something. Twice, because I had viral encephalitis whenever I was 10 and a half. So, and here I am again in 2006, was what, 30, I don't know. I was born in, okay, so I'm 45 right now, so 2006. So once I healed up from that, where I could get up and go, and took about 8-9 weeks, I think. Well, 8 or 9 weeks before I went back to work. And then still healing. I mean, so we started church hopping, and we were determined that we were going to find us somewhere to go, and we were going to die to self. And we were baby Christians. We had some things like that's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but we went on a trip not long after we had rededicated our lives to the mountains, and there was all kind of
those preachers on TV, and we were like, okay, we didn't know he was bad or whatnot, but he was talking about going to the highest point and giving your some kind of offering, and I couldn't think what, I can't remember. But we had to call my daddy and make sure we didn't need to do that, because we wanted to do what the Lord wanted us to do, and we wanted to be in His will. But that was kind of funny. But we both got baptized, and we have been, now we're not perfect, but we have been trying really, really hard to be obedient. And so, yeah. But marriage is work, and it takes a lot of it. Some days are good, some days are bad, but we have way more good days than bad days. And yeah, we still dance, even in our tiny little living room. So I can't wait to see what the next 20 years has in store for us, and then the next 20 years after that. And so this will be cool to be able to look back at our video journal. So yeah, it's gonna be very cool. Well, I guess that, I mean, I could go on and on, but I guess that I'm gonna wrap it up, because that's our love in a nutshell. And here we are, over 6 months into living in 200-ish square feet. Yeah, we've had a few extra moments here than we did when we had a lot of room that we could run away from one another, but you can't run away from this, so you have to face whatever big, small problem you have. And I think this is making us a lot stronger. We were strong before, but yep, this is we're Team Newton. We can do this. Trek Tiny, yep. It's changed our mindset. Yeah, I'll have to do a whole series on that, about minimalism and oh gosh, the things I'm learning through the Bible study I'm doing right now, Jonah. Navigating a Life Interrupted by Priscilla Shire. Whoa, that's good. We're in week 4 on that, and yeah. So anyway, I am going to, like I said, I could just ramble, but I'm gonna shut her down, and I thank you all for following our journey, and be sure and subscribe, and we'll see you guys around.